Kim stood with his mouth open as he looked up at the huge glass ceiling of Nexus Station. Space was so big, and the stars were so bright from here. This was his first trip away from Earth, and he could not believe he was really here. "Kim, keep up with the group," Mr. Ryu called. He was counting heads for the 5th time since they had arrived at the station. 20 students from Korea's Space Academy moved like a small river of blue uniforms through the crowds of aliens. Some aliens were tall and thin. Others were short with many arms. Some floated in the air, while others crawled on the walls. The students had studied all the main alien types, but seeing them in real life was very different. "I've counted 15 different species already," Song whispered to Kim. Song always kept careful notes about everything. His small tablet was full of pictures he had taken when the teachers weren't looking. "Look at those." Kim pointed to a group of tall, blue aliens with 4 arms. "I bet they could play amazing basketball." Lee, who walked behind them, rolled her eyes. "We're at the biggest space station in 3 systems, and you're thinking about basketball." She tapped her wrist device, which was definitely not standard school equipment. Lee could build or fix almost anything with technology. Mr. Ryu gathered the students in a circle. "Remember, we are guests here. Earth joined the Galactic Union only 5 years ago. How we act reflects on all humans. Stay together, don't touch anything without permission, and remember the rules we practiced." The students nodded, but Kim was already looking past the teacher at the huge doors that led to the Galactic Council's exhibition hall. The sign said it showed treasures from 100 worlds. "Now we will see the exhibition hall, then have lunch, and then—" A loud crash from the other end of the main hall interrupted Mr. Ryu. Some kind of argument was happening between 2 alien groups. All the teachers moved toward the noise to see what was going on. "Let's go see the exhibition now," Kim whispered to Song and Lee, while they're busy. "We should wait," Song said, but his eyes showed he wanted to go too. Lee looked at the teachers, then at the exhibition hall doors. "We'll just take a quick look and be back before they notice." The 3 friends slipped away from the group and hurried to the exhibition hall. They pushed through the heavy doors and found themselves in a huge room filled with amazing things. Glass cases held objects from planets they had only read about. Lights of all colors lit up the displays. "Wow," all 3 said at once. They moved from display to display, careful not to touch anything. Song took notes on everything. Lee studied how the displays worked. Kim just tried to see everything at once. "Look at this," Kim said, pointing to a floating object in the center of the room. It was a beautiful crystal that changed colors as it turned slowly in the air. Nothing seemed to hold it up. "That's a harmony crystal from the Merlac system," Song read from the sign. "It's over 10,000 years old and considered one of their most sacred objects." "How does it float like that?" Kim moved closer to look. "Don't get too close," Lee warned. But Kim was already leaning over the display. He wanted to see if there were hidden supports. As he leaned forward, his school badge caught on the edge of the display. When he moved back, the display shook. The crystal wobbled in the air. "Kim!" Song and Lee cried together. Kim tried to steady the display, but that made it worse. The crystal fell from its floating position and hit the hard floor with a terrible crack. A piece broke off and slid across the floor. Alarms began to ring. Red lights flashed all around them. "What have you done?" a harsh voice demanded. Tall aliens in black uniforms surrounded them. These were the Torah, the station's police force. Their faces showed no emotion as they looked down at the broken crystal and the 3 frightened human children. "It was an accident," Kim tried to explain. "My badge got caught and—" "You have damaged a sacred artifact," the Torah officer said. "You will come with us now." "But we're just kids," Lee said. "We're here with our school. Our teacher's here." "Age is not relevant. You have broken station law," the officer said. Metal cuffs appeared in his hands. "You are under arrest." The holding room was cold. Kim, Song, and Lee sat on a hard bench against the wall. They were the only humans in a room full of strange aliens. Some aliens looked angry, others looked sad. But all of them stayed away from the 3 human children. "Mr. Rio must be looking for us by now," Song said. He tried to sound brave, but his voice shook. Lee kept trying to use her wrist device. "I can't get a signal in here. They must block communications." Kim just stared at the floor. "This is all my fault. I should have been more careful." A tall Torah officer stood by the door. His 4 eyes watched everyone in the room. When anyone moved too much or spoke too loudly, he would tap his shock stick against the wall. The sound made everyone quiet again. "What will they do to us?" Song whispered. Before anyone could answer, the door slid open. Another group of Torah officers led a human man into the room. He wore the dirty clothes of a space trader. His beard was long, and his hair was messy. But his eyes were sharp. The man looked around the room, then froze when he saw the children. "What in the stars are human children doing in a detention cell?" he shouted. The Torah officer by the door moved forward. "Be quiet, human, or you will be sedated." The man ignored the warning. He walked straight to the children. "I'm Park. I trade goods between Earth and the outer systems. What happened? Why are you here?" Kim explained about the broken crystal. Park's face turned white as he listened. "This is bad," Park said. "Very bad." He turned to the Torah officer. "Do you know what you've done? These are human children. You cannot detain human children." The officer stood straighter. "They damaged a sacred artifact. They broke station law." "They're children," Park shouted. "Call Earth immediately. You need to release them before." "Human law does not apply here," the officer said. "They will face the same justice as any other species." Park ran his hands through his messy hair. "You don't understand. This isn't about law. This is about what happens when humans believe their children are in danger." For the first time, the Torah officer seemed uncertain. "Explain." "I need to speak to your commander," Park said. "Now, before this gets out of control." The officer touched a device on his wrist. After a short conversation, he led Park out of the room. The 3 children could hear Park's voice grow louder in the hallway. "You need to understand what human parents are like." Park's voice came through the door. "This isn't a simple matter of station law." The voices moved away, and the children couldn't hear anymore. "What did he mean?" Lee asked. "About human parents." An alien in the corner of the room made a strange laughing sound. It had green skin and 6 eyes that blinked in sequence. "You don't know your own species' reputation," the alien asked in broken human language. The children shook their heads. "Humans new to space. Other species been watching you for a long time." The alien moved closer. "Most species evolve different ways to survive. Some have claws, some have poison, some have speed." "What about humans?" Kim asked. "Humans evolved something different. Something that frightens other species." The alien's voice dropped to a whisper. "The human parent. Most dangerous force in known galaxy." Song laughed nervously. "Our parents. My dad cries during sad movies. My mom is afraid of spiders." The alien nodded. "Yes. Normal. Until child in danger. Then change. Big change." It made a gesture like an explosion with its 4 arms. Before they could ask more questions, the door opened again. Park was being pushed back into the room by 2 Torah officers. His face was red with anger. "They won't listen," he told the children as he sat next to them. "They think this is a simple case of property damage. They've denied my request to contact Earth." "What happens now?" Lee asked. Park looked at them with serious eyes. Now we wait, but not for long." "What do you mean?" Kim asked. Park looked at the ceiling as if he could see through it to the stars beyond. "Your neural implants. All Earth children have them. They've already sent distress signals home." He turned to the Torah officers by the door. His voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. You don't understand what's coming. Deep in Earth's defense headquarters, a red light started to flash. The quiet room suddenly filled with loud beeping sounds. Han, the commander of Earth's Special Recovery Unit, ran to the main screen. His face turned hard when he saw the message. Neural implant distress signals from 3 children, the computer voice said. Location: Nexus Station. Status: detained against diplomatic agreements. Han pressed a button on his desk. Code black. I repeat, code black. This is not a drill. Across the building, doors opened. Men and women in black uniforms rushed to the main room. They moved fast, but did not panic. These were the members of the Parental Response Unit, special soldiers who were also parents. What do we have? Asked Choi, a quiet woman with short gray hair. She was the team leader. 3 children from Korea's Space Academy, ages 13 to 14. Detained on Nexus Station for damaging property, Han said. Property? They're holding our children over property. Ju, the team's technology expert, was already at his computer. His fingers moved fast over the keys. The Galactic Council hasn't sent any official notice, Han continued. We only know because of the neural implant signals. That means they're trying to handle it themselves, without involving us. Choi's voice was calm, but her eyes were not. How long until we can launch? Asked Min, who had once been a space pilot before joining the team. 3 small ships are being prepared now, Han said. The light carriers can get you there in 6 hours. Too long, Choi said. Ju, can you access Nexus Station systems from here? Ju nodded. Already working on it. Their security is good, but not good enough. Back on Nexus Station, Kim, Song, and Lee had been moved to a different room. This one had beds and food, but the door was still locked. Park had been taken somewhere else. At least they're treating us better now, Song said, writing everything down in his tablet that the Torah had finally returned to him. Lee was trying to fix her wrist device. I still can't get a message out, but something strange is happening on the station. What do you mean? Kim asked. I can pick up some station communications. Many aliens are leaving. Important officials are rushing to meetings. Everyone seems worried about something. A loud sound came from the hallway outside their room. The door slid open, and a new alien entered. This one wasn't a Torah. It was smaller, with light blue skin and large eyes. I am Glix, representative of the Galactic Council, the alien said in perfect human language. I must ask you some questions. Are you going to let us go? Kim asked. That depends on your answers, Glix said. The damage to the Harmony Crystal is very serious, but there may have been a misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? Song asked. We told the truth. It was an accident. Glix looked uncomfortable. It's not about the accident. It's about who you are, or rather, what you are. You mean because we're human? Lee asked. Yes, human children, specifically. Glix pulled out a small device and showed them a screen. On it, they could see the main docking area of the station. 3 small ships were visible. They had no markings, no flags, no symbols. These ships appeared 40 minutes ago, Glix said. They're from Earth. Our parents. Kim asked, feeling hopeful. A special unit, Glix said. They are requesting your immediate release. Lee looked at the screen more carefully. Those are light carriers. Military ships. The fastest in Earth's fleet. How do you know that? Kim whispered. My mother works in ship design. Lee whispered back. Glix didn't seem to hear them. The alien was listening to something through an earpiece. Its large eyes grew even wider. Impossible, Glix said. Our systems can't be accessed from outside the station. Lee's wrist device suddenly lit up. A message appeared on the screen. Stay calm. We are coming. Outside in the hall, they could hear Torah officers running. Alarm sounds started in the distance. What's happening? Song asked. Glix looked at the 3 human children with new eyes. eyes filled with worry. "Your people are happening," Glix said quietly. And now the station is beginning to understand its mistake. In the main control room of Nexus Station, tall screens showed the 3 small Earth ships. They just sat there, not moving, but everyone felt afraid. "They're too small to be warships," said the station security chief, a large Tora with battle scars on his face. "They can't harm us." Glix, who had just returned from seeing the human children, shook his head. "Size doesn't matter. What matters is who is on those ships." The main screen lit up with a message. "Nexus Station, this is Captain Choi of Earth's Parental Response Unit. We request immediate docking and the release of 3 human children in your custody." The station chief pressed a button to respond. "This is Chief Dorno of Nexus Station Security. We understand your concern, but proper procedures must be followed. The children damaged a sacred artifact. There are fines to be paid and forms to be completed." There was a pause before the human voice came back. It was still calm, but somehow colder. "Chief Dorno, we are not here to negotiate. You have our children. We have come to collect them. Your cooperation would be appreciated, but is not required." Dorno looked confused. "Is that a threat? Your 3 small ships against our station. We have defense systems and a security force of 500. The communication ended without a response. Dorno turned to Glix. What did she mean by not required? Before Glix could answer, one of the Tora officers at a computer shouted, "Sir, we're losing access to Section 5 security cameras." Another officer called out, "Door controls in levels 3 through 7 are not responding." Dorno rushed to the main system panel. "That's impossible. Our systems can't be hacked. They're not even connected to outside networks." On the Earth ships, Ju sat surrounded by screens. His fingers moved quickly over his keyboard. Next to him, Choi watched the station's security feeds that were now showing on their screens. "I'm in," Ju said. "Their systems are advanced, but not designed to keep someone like me out." Choi nodded. "How many guards near our children?" 4 outside their room. 2 more at the end of the hall. Ju brought up a 3D map of the station. I found the fastest path from Docking Bay 3 to their location. Min entered the room. "Ships are ready. The station still hasn't decided if they're letting us dock." "They will," Choi said. She looked at a picture of the 3 children on her screen. "Tell the team we move in 15 minutes, with or without permission." Back on the station, Kim, Song, and Lee could feel something was happening. The guards outside their door were talking in urgent voices. The lights in their room flickered once, then again. "I think our parents are coming," Lee said. Her wrist device now showed the station's layout with a blinking dot where they were. "How can they get to us?" Song asked. "The station is huge. There are guards everywhere." Kim looked out the small window in their door. The guards looked scared. In the main hall of the station, alien visitors were rushing to leave. Shops were closing. Everyone had heard rumors about the human ships. Park, who had been moved to a different holding room, smiled as his door suddenly slid open with no guards in sight. He walked out and headed toward where he knew the children were being held. In the control room, Dorno was now in full panic. Half the security doors on the station aren't working. How are they doing this? Glix received a message on his personal device. He read it, and his blue skin turned almost white. "What is it?" Dorno demanded. "I requested information about humans from our research division," Glix said slowly, "specifically about human parents and their offspring. And I think we've made a terrible mistake." Glix handed the device to Dorno. Dorno read the screen, his 4 eyes growing wider with each word. The report detailed how humans, unlike most species, would risk everything to protect their young. It showed historical examples of how humans would fight against impossible odds when their children were threatened. "These humans," Dorno said, pointing at the ships on the screen, "they're all parents." "Yes," Glix said, "parents who are also elite soldiers. And we have their children. At that moment, all the lights on the station went out. Only emergency red lights remained on. Over every speaker on the station, a calm woman's voice spoke. "This is Captain Choi of Earth's Parental Response Unit. We are now docking at Bay 3. We expect to find our children safe, unharmed, and ready for immediate release. Any Torah officer who interferes will be considered a direct threat to human children. We advise all civilians to stay clear of the path between Bay 3 and Detention Level 2. We are coming for our children." Kim, Song, and Lee sat in the dark room, lit only by the red emergency lights. The station shook slightly as the Earth ships docked. They could hear running feet and shouting voices in the halls outside. "Do you think we'll be in trouble when we get home?" Kim asked. He still felt bad about breaking the crystal. "I think everyone's going to be too happy we're safe to be mad," Lee said, checking her wrist device. "Look at this." She showed them a message moving across her screen. "Stay in room. Doors locked for your safety. Team approaching your location." The door to their room suddenly opened. The children jumped up, expecting to see human soldiers. Instead, Park rushed in, followed by the green alien with 6 eyes they had met in the holding cell. "Come with me, kids," Park said. "Your rescue team is coming, but we should meet them halfway. It's chaos out there." "Should we trust him?" Song whispered to the others. The green alien made its strange laughing sound. "Trust or not trust, doesn't matter. Humans coming. Nothing will stop them." "Who are you?" Kim asked the alien. "I am Zax, trader from Merlac System. I know humans. I trade with humans." The alien's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. "I know what happens when human children in danger." They followed Park and Zax out into the hallway. The station felt different now. The normal busy sounds were gone. Instead, there were alarm bells and frightened voices. Some sections were completely empty. In others, aliens huddled together, whispering. "Why is everyone so scared?" Lee asked. "Our parents are just coming to take us home." Zax made that strange laugh again. "Just. No just. Look around you. Most advanced space station in 3 systems. Thousands of security measures. And humans walked through it all like it wasn't there." They turned a corner and saw a group of Torah officers running away from them. The officers looked back once, saw the human children, and ran faster. "They're scared of us." Song couldn't believe it. "Not of you," Park explained. "Of what's coming for you." As they walked through the main market area, now mostly empty, a small alien child pointed at them and asked its parent something in a language the humans didn't understand. The parent pulled its child close and answered in a loud whisper that Park translated for them. "Those are human children. Be respectful. Their parents protect them like no other species in the galaxy." Kim thought this was very strange. On Earth, parents protecting their children was normal. Nothing special. But these aliens acted like it was something amazing and scary. They stopped to rest near a viewing window. Through it, they could see the 3 small Earth ships docked at the station. They didn't look special or dangerous. Zax pointed to the ships. "Those ships, not the danger. What's inside them is the danger." "Our parents are just regular people," Lee said. "My mom works in ship design. Kim's dad is a teacher. Song's parents run a restaurant." Park nodded. "Yes, regular people who will tear apart anything between them and their children." A voice came over the station speakers. "Attention all station personnel. This is Chief Dorno. The human children are to be escorted to docking Bay 3 immediately. All security personnel must stand down. I repeat, stand down." The voice sounded afraid. Kim had never heard an adult sound so afraid before. As they continued walking, they passed a large group of aliens watching a screen. On it, a woman in a black uniform was walking through the station. She moved calmly, but with purpose. No one tried to stop her. "Who is that?" Song asked. "Captain Choi," Park said. "Leader of the rescue team." "She doesn't look scary," Kim said. That's what frightens them most, Zax explained, all six eyes focused on the screen. She is a parent coming for her species' young. She doesn't need to look scary. The entire station knows what will happen if they try to stop her. As they watched, a Torah officer approached Choi on the screen. He said something they couldn't hear. Choi simply looked at him. The officer quickly stepped aside. "We should keep moving," Park said. "They're getting closer. We'll meet them at the central hub." As they walked away, Lee looked back at the screen one more time. Captain Choi looked like any other mom. She could have been any of their friends' mothers back on Earth. But here, on this station filled with advanced aliens, she was something else entirely. She was a legend coming to life before their eyes. Chief Dorno sat alone in his office. The screens around him showed different parts of the station. Most areas were empty now. Many aliens had gone to their ships. Others hid in their rooms. The Torah security force stood at their posts, but they looked nervous. Dorno opened a file on his computer. It was Earth's official history. He had never read it before. Now he couldn't stop reading. The history showed wars where humans fought against impossible odds to protect their young. It showed parents running into burning buildings. It showed people lifting heavy objects that should be impossible to lift when a child was trapped underneath. It showed a species that would do anything, to keep their children safe. Why didn't we know this? Dorno whispered to himself. Glix entered the room. The human rescue team is moving through level 4. They're halfway to the children. And our security? Dorno asked. No one has tried to stop them. Glix looked at the screens. In fact, most officers are clearing the way for them. Dorno stood up. We need to fix this now, before it gets worse. Send a message to all stations. Release the human children immediately. Tell their rescue team they can take them home. It's too late for that, Glix said. They don't trust us anymore. They want to see the children themselves. Meanwhile, Kim, Song, Lee, Park, and Zax had reached the central hub of the station. It was a large round room with many hallways leading out like spokes on a wheel. Usually, it was full of aliens from all over the galaxy. Now it was almost empty. We should wait here, Park said. Both groups are heading this way. As they waited, Zax told them more about how aliens saw humans. Every species has different ways to survive, Zax explained. My people have 6 eyes to see danger from all directions. Torah have tough skin that stops most weapons. Humans seem weak compared to many species. We are not weak, Kim said. No, not weak, Zax agreed. Different strong. Most species protect themselves first, then their group, then their young. Humans reverse this. Protect young first, no matter what. That's normal, Song said. All parents do that. Zax's 6 eyes all blinked at once. No, not normal in Galaxy. Very rare, very scary to watch. Many species fear what human parents will do for their young. Lee's wrist device suddenly beeped. A message appeared. We have your location. Stay where you are. Almost there. At that moment, all the lights in the central hub went out. Even the emergency lights. They stood in complete darkness. What's happening? Kim asked, his voice shaking a little. A new voice answered from the darkness. Final warning. The lights came back on, but they were different now. Dimmer, blue instead of white. Standing at one of the hallway entrances was a group of humans in black uniforms. They didn't have weapons out, but everyone could see the guns at their sides. At the front stood Captain Choi. She looked like an ordinary woman, maybe someone's grandmother, but her eyes were sharp and missed nothing. Kim, Song, Lee. She said their names without asking who was who. Are you hurt? No, Mom, they said together. Good. Choi looked at Park. Thank you for helping them. Park nodded, just doing what any human would do. From another hallway, Chief Dorno appeared with Glix and several Torah officers. They stayed far back from the human team. Captain Choi, Dorno said, his voice formal. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I apologize for this incident. There was a misunderstanding about human customs regarding children. Not customs, Choi said. Her voice was still calm, but something in it made everyone listen carefully. Instincts, the kind that are written into our DNA. Dorno nodded quickly. Yes, of course. The children are free to go. No charges, no fines. The damaged artifact. Glix asked quietly. Kim stepped forward. I'm really sorry about breaking the crystal. It was an accident. I'll work to pay for it. I promise. Choi put her hand on Kim's shoulder. The Galactic Council will send Earth a bill. We'll discuss it later. She looked at Dorno. Right now, we're taking our children home. Dorno nodded again. Of course, we have prepared a formal apology and new guidelines for handling human visitors. This will never happen again. As the human team surrounded the children and began leading them toward the docking bay, the station speakers came on. Chief Dorno's voice echoed through every room and hallway. Attention all station personnel and visitors. The human children have been released to their people. Normal operations will resume in 1 hour. Let this be a lesson to us all. There are lines you don't cross in this universe. Taking human children is one of them. The walk to Docking Bay 3 was strange. Kim, Song, and Lee walked in the middle of a group of humans in black uniforms. Captain Choi led the way. No one tried to stop them. In fact, aliens moved quickly out of their path. The whole station is watching us, Song whispered. He noticed security cameras turning to follow them. Let them watch, said a tall man walking beside them. Let them learn. Lee looked up at the man. Are you Min? My mom told me about you. You were a famous space pilot. Min smiled. I was. Now I'm just a dad who happens to work for the Parental Response Unit. As they walked, Kim couldn't help asking the question that had been bothering him. Are we in trouble? For breaking the crystal and causing all this? Captain Choi looked back at him. The only ones in trouble are the people who thought it was acceptable to detain children over an accident. But I broke something important, Kim said. Yes, you did, Choi agreed. And there will be consequences for that. But they'll be fair consequences. You'll write an apology. You'll do some extra work to help pay for it. You'll learn from your mistake. That sounds reasonable, Kim said, relieved. Of course it's reasonable, Min said. We're your parents and teachers, not jailers. They reached Docking Bay 3. 3 ships waited there. They were small but sleek. Lee looked at them with wide eyes. Those are the new T-7 light carriers, she said. They're the fastest ships in Earth's fleet. They can go from Earth to here in 6 hours. 5 hours and 42 minutes, actually, said a man working on a small computer device. This was Ju, the team's technology expert. We pushed the engines a bit. As they approached the ships, Park and Zach said goodbye. I need to get back to my trading route, Park said. But I'm glad everything worked out. Will we see you again? Lee asked Zax. The alien's 6 eyes blinked in a happy pattern. Yes, I trade with Earth often. But next time, try not to break ancient artifacts. Yes. The children laughed and promised to be more careful. Before they boarded the ships, Glix approached with a small box. This is for you, he said, offering it to Kim. A gift from the Galactic Council. Kim opened the box carefully. Inside was a small piece of the Harmony crystal, now attached to a stand with a written message. To remember that understanding between species sometimes comes from unexpected places. Thank you, Kim said, surprised. We fixed the crystal, Glix explained. This small piece was left over. We thought you should have it. As the children prepared to board the ships, they noticed something strange. Many aliens had gathered at a safe distance to watch them leave. They weren't angry or frightened anymore. They looked curious. Why are they all watching us? Song asked. Because we've become a legend in just 1 day, Lee said. The human children who brought the station to its knees without firing a shot. Captain Choi overheard them. "It wasn't you who did that," she said. "It was the idea of you. The idea that somewhere in the galaxy there are children whose parents will cross any distance, overcome any obstacle, to keep them safe." Kim looked around at the team of ordinary humans who had done extraordinary things to rescue them. "Would you really have gone to war over us if they hadn't let us go?" Min put his hand on Kim's shoulder. "There are lines you don't cross in this universe. Every species has them. Taking our children happens to be ours." As they boarded the ships, the children took one last look at Nexus Station. It was the most advanced space station in 3 systems, home to technology they couldn't even understand, full of aliens stronger, faster, and in many ways more advanced than humans. And yet, for a brief moment, this mighty station had trembled at the simplest and oldest human instinct, a parent's love for their child. The ship's doors closed. The engines hummed to life. It was time to go home. 6 months had passed since the incident at Nexus Station. Kim, Song, and Lee stood in the main hall of the station once again. This time, they were part of a proper diplomatic visit. Their teachers and parents were with them, along with officials from Earth's government. "It looks so different now," Kim said, looking around at the busy station. Aliens of all kinds moved through the halls, but something had changed. When they saw the human children, they didn't move away in fear. Instead, many nodded respectfully or gave what must have been smiles in their own way. "Look at this," Song said, pointing to a sign near the entrance to the Galactic Council area. It was written in many languages, including Earth languages. It read, "All juvenile visitors must be accompanied by adults of their species. Respect cultural differences in child-guardian relationships." Lee checked her wrist device, which now had official permission to connect to the station's network. "They've changed so many rules since we were here." Mr. Ryu gathered all the students together. "Today, we have been invited to see the repaired Harmony Crystal and the new exhibit about first contact misunderstandings. Remember to stay with the group this time." He looked directly at Kim, Song, and Lee when he said this. The students laughed. The story of what had happened was well known on Earth now. As they walked through the station, an official guide led them. The guide was the same blue alien they had met before, Glix. "Welcome back to Nexus Station," Glix said. "We are honored to have human visitors again, especially these 3. He nodded toward Kim, Song, and Lee. The first stop was the room with the Harmony Crystal. It sat in its display, fully repaired and glowing with changing colors. But now it had a new sign next to it that told the story of how a small accident had led to better understanding between species. "The crystal is actually more valuable now," Glix explained. "It has a new history, a new meaning." Next to the crystal display was a new exhibit. It showed information about different species and how they protected their young. The human section was the largest. "We study humans now," Glix said. "We learn from you." As they continued the tour, they noticed how other aliens looked at them. It wasn't fear anymore. It was something like respect. "It's weird being famous in space," Kim whispered to his friends. A small alien child pointed at them and asked its parent a question. The parent answered, and this time the humans could understand because of their new translator devices. "Those are the human children from the stories," the parent said. "The ones who showed us how humans protect their young." Later, they visited the central hub where they had met the rescue team 6 months ago. Now there was a small marker on the floor. It read, "On this spot, a new understanding between Earth and the Galactic Union began." At the end of the tour, Glix took them to a special room where students from different planets could meet and talk. Alien children of many shapes, sizes, and colors waited there. "These young ones have many questions for you," Glix said. "They want to understand humans better." As Kim, Song, and Lee sat with the alien children, the questions came quickly. Is it true human parents can lift heavy things when their children are in danger? Do all humans fight for each other's children or just their own? Why do humans value their young so much? Lee thought for a moment before answering the last question. Because children are the future. Not just our future, but everyone's future. When we protect our children, we're protecting all the possibilities they might bring to the universe. The alien children seemed to like this answer. They began to share stories about how their own species protected their young. As the human students listened and shared their own stories, Kim looked around the room. Aliens and humans, talking and learning from each other, all because of a mistake, an accident, and the strongest force in the human experience, the need to protect the next generation. On the wall of the room hung a simple sign in many languages. The Earth Languages version read, "Be respectful to the humans. They love their children enough to bring the galaxy to its knees." And that is a lesson worth learning.